Have you ever met an adult who was homeschooled, and especially by the father? Welcome to Raising Geniuses, and today we have a special guest who is a product of homeschooling and now is in the job market. So karibu sana Barbara.
Thank you.
Yes, Barbara is a university graduate of USIU and she's done psychology. And right now she's pursuing certification in HR and is now ready for market. So we want to unpack her journey in homeschooling and ask the critical questions. Is homeschooling best for your child? Is homeschooling preparing your learner for the future of work? Karibu. So over to you. Tell us about homeschooling. Tell us about where did you start and how was the journey?
Okay. So I did it for 4, from nursery to class 4.
Okay.
And then I transitioned systems into ACE, where I did grade 5.
What does ACE mean?
Accelerated Christian Education.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Where I did from grade 5 to grade 9.
Okay.
And then my grade 10 and 11, I chose to homeschool.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, good.
And
Tell us about ACE, just a little bit about ACE.
So ACE is, again, Accelerated Christian Education.
Yeah.
It's from the States.
Okay.
So it's individualized learning. So you have your material.
Yes.
And then, you pace yourself. You don't learn as a group.
Okay.
You basically choose your subject.
Okay.
And then go from there.
Are you in a similar class like we do in 844 or the
Yes.
CPC?
You're all in a class.
Yeah.
However,
Yeah.
you learn by yourself. There's
Okay.
no teacher in front of you
Okay.
to tell you what to do. You set your own goals and you meet them.
Okay.
Yes.
So where did the transition come that you say now I'm leaving ACE or your parents did you are leaving ACE and you're going
Yes.
to homeschooling?
Yes.
How did it come about?
So it was actually a personal decision. They wanted to homeschool me a bit earlier, but I refused.
Yes.
Primarily because
Yes.
social life, friends.
Yes.
And then when I got to high school, I was like, I want to be in charge of my studies. I want to focus. I want to finish early.
Yes.
Like I had a mission, and
Yes.
I had a conversation with them. Told them I want to homeschool because I want to work at my own pace, finish fast. That's what I want to do, and they agreed.
So you decided.
Yes.
At what age were you when you were deciding?
I was 15.
Wow.
Yeah, I was 15.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. Okay, that's a very good thing. Now let's go right into it. What is homeschooling? For what somebody is watching and they don't know what is homeschooling.
Homeschooling is basically studying from home.
Okay.
So having a system that you normally have in school, but at home. Okay. So everything you do in school, you do at home.
Okay.
So from schoolwork, extracurricular activities.
Yeah.
But now what's different is that you don't have a teacher in front of you. You have a flexibility of choosing, be it your parent, a tutor.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you learn everything that you learn in school, but in a home context.
Yes.
And then now a tutor or your parent.
Yes.
Who was your tutor?
My dad.
Your dad.
Yes.
Your dad was a tutor.
Yes.
Well, I know my father will not sit down and teach me. Even 1 + 1 was a difficult thing. Tell me, how was the experience being tutored by your dad?
For me, I think it was very simple.
Okay.
Because I was very independent.
Okay.
And I was able to learn with minimum supervision.
Okay.
So he was there to mainly check my work and guide me through the areas where I was stuck.
Yeah.
And I think because of how we connected, it was very free flow for me.
Yeah.
I do my work, he checks it, and I was very motivated.
Yeah.
Continues end of day, marks my tests, mentors me through them.
Yeah.
Very smooth journey.
Oh.
Yeah.
So it was smooth.
Very.
Okay. Tell us about now after homeschooling. How was the transition? When did you go?
Like now to uni. So after because I finished early,
Yes.
I took a gap year where I was deciding what do I want to study.
Yes.
So I actually even did internships. I went to different universities and then I settled for USIU.
Yeah.
Where I wanted to. Now I decided I love humans. I want to know everything about them. So I did now pick psychology.
Okay.
And minored in business management.
Okay.
Yes.
And then now you finished. And then
after finishing, at USIU, I narrowed down to I want to practice HR.
Yes.
And for you to practice, it's important for you to have a CHRP, which is a certified professional course, and which is what I'm doing now.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. So you've heard from Barbara the simple introduction from homeschooling all the way to post-university, and now she's pursuing HR. Now, I would like to know more about a typical day of a homeschooler as a child now.
Yeah.
When you wake up, like my children wake up, put on their bags, they go to school, and then they come back.
Yeah.
So what works, how does it work?
Okay, so for homeschooling, it's important to have a timetable.
Yes.
So my set time was to wake up at 6, and then you obviously have breakfast.
Yes.
School, needed to have started by 7,
Yeah.
because I wanted to finish my work by midday. So from 7 to midday, doing school, obviously with breaks in between.
Yes.
And then by midday, because every day I had a different extracurricular activity happening at different times, and that's how I'd spend, the rest of the day. So be it swimming, or you have music lessons or sports.
Okay.
So it's very flexible.
So you have all these activities even in homeschooling.
Yes.
So when you say you need a timetable, who determines the timetable and how it be structured?
So I worked with my dad to form one at that time.
Okay.
So we knew maybe, these are certain days of the week where I'm needed out for extracurricular activity. So it meant I had to start the day earlier. Yes. Then the days where there was nothing really happening in the afternoon means that you can start your work a bit later. Or even if you start at a set time, you just finish earlier and have more time to just relax and do your own thing.
Okay. Something that is coming in my mind.
Yeah.
So when you say you go to school, so this is how structured. There's a bedroom, there's a living room. So how do you
So I think for you to get into the mindset that I'm doing school at home, you have to have a designated room for school.
Okay.
So be it a study room or even if it's in the living room, you've set up a space for this is where we work. This is my seat.
Yes.
And even before that, you need to prepare yourself psychologically by changing, and you just can't wake up and go and start
uniform.
I mean, but some can decide to do so. Just for structure.
Yeah, for structure.
Yeah, but you just have to know, change and get ready for school to get into that mindset.
Yes.
Because it helps,
your
later.
transition to.
Okay.
Okay, now that you've transitioned to the desk, where does your parent come in, or how is let me just explain about the normal class. We've all gone through the class. You have a timetable, maths. The maths teacher comes. This is the work. We had homework. We mark. We go. Now, where does who starts the lesson? Where did the parent come in?
So because of the system I did,
yes.
So my dad came in at before I start my work,
yes.
check the previous day's work,
yes.
to see if let's say math I set 1 to 4, has yes. that been done? Have yes. I checked that work?
Yes.
Is it fine? Can we move on? Did
okay.
you have any mishaps anywhere?
Yeah.
And then after that he now checks the work I've set to do today.
Yes.
So yesterday's work and then today's work. What are you doing today?
Yeah.
And then he checks through all of it, and then I start because I know what I'm supposed to do. I don't need him.
Yeah.
They are just seated, so he was free to work and do other things.
Okay.
And then now when I'm stuck, let's say in page 3 of math, and I said 1 to 4, that's where I can approach him and be like, hey, this is where I'm stuck at, help. And then I do my math, English, all the subjects, and then he checks every time I finish where I'm set for the day.
Yeah.
Do it to him, he checks, and then keep moving.
So is there like because we are used again to the school, there is a bell, there's a new teacher. So how is the transition between lessons now?
Okay, so so now my experience was in high school. What I've noticed for kids who are younger, they need more supervision.
Okay.
In terms of, even then they still set their own goals.
Yes.
And then you still have to consistently check. But then now for that transition, you move to the next subject after you finish the subject you're working on. So if I said math 1 to 4, I finish it, now I move to English.
Oh.
I'm the one who's in charge of my own work. No. It's not. It's
project based. I want to finish maths 1 plus.
Like 1 to 4, I finish it, I do it. Then when you finish that, you move to after it has been checked, it has been done well, you move to the next subject. And then now we had designated break hours. So I know automatically by 2 hours you're tired, so you need a break after that. You're hungry, so a 30-minute break. So we had designated.
You walk to the kitchen,
make your snack here and all that, or you go outside, breathe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's talk about discipline.
Yes.
Because homeschooling, from the way you are saying, you have to know how to keep your time, finish your projects on time.
Yes.
If it's time for this activity, you have to be there for that activity.
Yes.
Where do you master discipline?
So again, the system I did, they provide a document. It was called a goal card,
where
you write the subjects. Yeah. So it was separated into days.
Who is
the provider or
curriculum.
The curriculum. Yes.
Okay.
When you're getting your books, they also send a goal card.
Yes.
So it has days of the weeks and the subject.
Yes.
So every day you're writing, this is what I'm doing today. Once you're done, you cross it out. Then you set the next days like that. So you can be able to keep track. So that automatically
so it's like a guide to manage your
tracker. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
But there is a guide and there is the actual discipline.
Yeah.
Where do you get the actual discipline?
The actual
as a homeschooling child.
Yeah. I think it's just I was motivated.
Okay.
It just comes from inwards.
Yes.
I think once you know what you want
Yeah.
and when you want to do it,
Yes.
for me, I found the discipline just coming
Okay.
naturally because I knew I want to finish school by 17.
Yeah.
So I have this amount of time, so I need to make it work for me.
Okay.
So I feel like if you don't have, a goal, a future goal,
Yeah.
it's very hard for discipline to come because you don't know what you're working towards.
Okay.
So until you know what you want and by when you want to do, I made sure to figure that out.
Yeah.
Like for me, the discipline just came naturally.
Okay, good. So you've learned about the structure of the day. Tell us, we usually have midterms, closing days.
Yes.
So who determines that?
The system as well, because there's offices based in Kenya.
Yeah.
For all the homeschools under this curricula,
Yes.
they send out a yearly calendar.
Yes.
So it has the opening day,
Yes.
the closing days, and the midterm
Yeah.
dates. And any activities that they're providing for that semester, this is when it's being offered anywhere, for different regions. So it's decided to Nairobi, Thika Road. Yeah.
So if it's midterm, you can see your desk every day, but you don't sit on it and you don't open it.
Unless, the homeschooling is very flexible.
Yeah.
So there are students who really want to finish quickly.
Yeah.
So they can decide, imagine me, I don't want a break. They just keep working and working. They can even work at night, work during midterm, work during holidays.
Yes.
Because they have a target and they have a goal.
Okay.
But, if you're on the, if you're working well and you're, meeting your goals and whatever, you don't have to, you can take that extra time to rest.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Let's talk a bit about the curriculum, and then we can also answer some questions that people ask.
Yeah.
So this curriculum, you're saying, is just the standard curriculum that we are learning in the regular schools, but it has a managing body that manages that. In your opinion, and since you were in 844, you went to ACE. Now you're in homeschooling. What's your view on this curriculum?
For me, ACE is very broad.
And let's start with 844, and then we come to ACE, and then we come to homeschooling.
For me, 844 was very, it really focused on exams. Like I felt like I was just studying for exams, like cramming things, constantly under pressure to perform. And, it didn't really pick out your strong suits as a student, like just focused on moving as a group, just move. But I understand or not just move. Your ability was determined in CRAN. But for ACE is continuous assessment. Like it looks for understanding. So if you don't understand, you stay at that level until you have proven to understood that subject. And if you fail, you still are taken back to that level. You do it over and over again until you properly understand. So it focuses mainly on understanding that and cramming, as well as because they provide materials to set your goals. So it gives you, the space to learn how to manage your work and your time, and you have to plan yourself. So that you're breaking down a bigger goal in small doable pieces. And as well as ACE is very broad in that if you have interest in diverse things, it's subjects suited for that should pick for yourself compared to a Like for example, for me, I did, because I was interested in psychology and business, I was able to start these courses in high school. Also, I picked a counseling course.
It's a counseling course.
Yes, I picked a counseling course. I picked business.
Yes.
I picked health, just things that I was interested in. So that at least you have broad knowledge about things out there, so that you know what exactly.
So you can be able to narrow down specific areas that you're interested in, that you can be prepared for further studies. Okay, good. Now let's talk about social life. Most people say a homeschooler cannot have social life. Demystify that.
Wow, I think for me, first of all, my personality is very extroverted.
Yes.
Okay, not very, but
and then you stay in the house.
And then I
talk to
So for me, I think because I was in school before, it helped.
Yes.
It helped that I was in school. So during my free time, I would go and see my friends there, or even just organizing the weekends to see them. But I also think homeschooling now has grown, and there's different groups for every region. So we make it a habit to meet every month with the students in the different grades to do different activities. So there's field trips organized by them. There's clubs as well. There's extracurricular activities. So it really grows, the homeschooler. So they get to meet people from different regions. And then for a system, there's something called convention, which I think in 844 is something like music festival and that. So it's now people who are homeschooling and are in school with our system from East Africa meet in Kenya to
Okay.
compete in 100+ activities. When you win here, you're taken to South Africa. When you win there, you're taken to the US. So those are, very many socializing opportunities.
Very good. Now we come to Barbara. You've stayed in that seat from morning. You've set your timetable. You've taken lunch. You're back there because you want to finish.
Yeah.
When do you socialize as a homeschooler?
When did I?
When did you? Yes.
Yes, I used to socialize the days that I have extracurricular activities.
Okay.
When I'm doing music, because I'm going to meet the group I'm doing it with, I socialize there.
Yes.
And I'm doing swimming because I'm in a club.
Yes.
I socialize
Okay.
there. When I, we go to school, visit my friends there. So for me, I had different areas of meeting people, and I also went for those student conventions. So I make friends there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Very good. Is there a point of comparing how you're doing with another learner? Because in the regular system, if you do maths, 1 + 1 is you write 3. I can see, why is it 2? I can come and ask you, is it 2? Why is it 2? Do you feel there is a point, there's a missing point there, or what's your opinion on in terms of learning from others, peer learning?
Peer learning.
Yes, your personal opinion on peer learning.
At the high school.
At your level, in just your journey of homeschooling.
I think for me at that time, because I really at a time where tech was not really prominent, I didn't have a lot of that, so it was very individualized. But what I've seen now is that homeschooling is becoming a community where they can meet online using online platforms. So Google Meets, Zoom, and help each other in the work that they're doing when they're stuck, which I think has made a difference now compared to then. Because you see, then I'd only talk about what I'm learning in school and I see the people. But now when you're stuck, you can decide to move together as a group in that grid and connect with other homeschoolers in different regions and learn from each other.
So there's a big community around homeschoolers.
Yes.
Okay. Now let's talk about your father as a dad and your father as a teacher. When did you draw the line? Now you are my teacher. Then now you're my dad. You can give me a hug, we can play around, but now I need to learn. How do we draw the line?
At first it was difficult because I remember the time I failed a test and I'm like, you failed me. Like you saw my test and failed. And I was like, hey, surely. But then I think over time I got to realize, I think how did I draw that line? That's interesting.
How would you view, this is my dad right now? Now this is my teacher. Then this is my dad?
I think during the times I was doing school, it was, I just interacted with him as my teacher. Like, still calling dad or whatever, but just talk about school things at that time. Now, after school, I think, because now that's not the focus, it's easy to transition. Okay, now we're back to, normal life. Let's talk about
You don't talk about that in school.
School needs school.
So you have to make sure school is school.
It's school time.
Wow.
And then after school is now.
So there's a lot of discipline that you have to learn.
Yes.
Okay. Talk about your peers. What was their view? You see, you have friends in the estate, in the community, and they all are taken by bus, and they leave you there and they find you there. What was their view?
So I'd say for people who I left in school, they're really curious and hey, why are you choosing to homeschool? And I think many of them were not, I think because we're young at when I was like 15, they're not understanding that. I have goals, I want to accomplish them. And they're like, are you sure you won't miss us? But I think as I was focused.
Did you miss them?
I was seeing them every other week. So for me, I had made peace by the time I was coming to that decision. I knew this is what it meant. So I already made a plan. So it was easy for me to transition. And once you have said for yourself, nothing can stop you. So for them, it was bizarre. But I think for the people at home, I just get the occasional question, like, you're always at home. Like, when you stopped going to school or whatever, I'm like, no, actually, I'm homeschooling. What I used to do in school now, brought home. And I think we're able to catch it.
Do you still have people right now who wonder, like, what questions do they ask you?
I think the main question is how, like, you went to university and, and passed and actually entered, and then also they ask, and it was your choice, like my choice to homeschool. I think those are the frequent questions I'm asked by parents. And I think they're just amazed by, wow, you can actually go through life as an adult and you're homeschooled, and it's possible.
Congratulations.
Yes.
So thank you for that. We want to transition now to university. Barbara is still here with us, and next she'll be telling us of how she transitioned to university. Keep it locked. Let's continue raising geniuses, one episode at a time. Thank you.